Hello, Facebook family. Hello, hello, hello. Elevate Facebook, episode 110. All superheroes don't work. I am out of breath because I've been running around and I had just got home. So bear with me while I catch my breath. But sometimes I wish we could videotape some of the stuff that happens before the broadcast. So, hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day. 7:01. I'm trying to get seated, get on my little perch here. And I just want to say, hope you guys had a great day. It is October 11th, 2023. And I'm very excited about what we're talking about today, as always. But the title is All Superheroes Don't Wear Capes, episode 110. I don't have Shar here with me. She's out there. She was hungry, and she said she's going to get some food I want to say about 45 minutes ago. So she's stuck in traffic or something. But at the end of the day, I'm sure she'll join us later on. But I'm super excited. If you can post, let me see. I see some comments already. Let me click the button. Hi, Ann. Great to see you. My parents are on. Tamika, uh, Mother Brenda, and I'm Barbara. Good to see you guys on. She said, hey there. Sorry, John couldn't make it. He had an event this evening. So I don't know. I want y'all to congratulate Tamika, which is Alec Williams on here. She just got engaged to 240. I call him 240 because he is a big dude. Not big like in big, but he's a big dude. So we call him 240. So she was flashing her ring, and my wife got all googly and all that, whatever she got a ring, all that goes on. So congratulations. I'm happy for her. Another thing we can make a video about is all the stories behind the scenes. I tell you. So, hello. I think I'm getting my breath back. But today's topic is something that I've touched on, but I haven't really touched on. And I said, man, it's really time, especially, thinking about, my journey and, what I'm going through in my life and, the things that we think will be beneficial to help people out there, especially people that are watching this video later on, because this is recorded. But all superheroes don't wear capes, episode 110. I'll go into what I mean by that. But I want to go into the housekeeping stuff. I'm Curtis. I am the founder of Elevate, and Elevate is a coaching company. We coach. I love one-on-one coaching. Of course, we do seminars and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I always tell people that you want a coach that's doing it, and we're the people that are doing it. Shar has 10 to 12 years right now as a business analyst and project manager. She also runs her own company. She has a couple of employees working for her. And until you do it, you start. There goes Shar. Until you do it, you see the big wave. Until you do it, you understand the challenges of working with people. But at the end of the day, same thing. I have 30 years of experience in leadership. I can sit here and have stories all day. I can tell some stories that will freak y'all out, and I'm sure you guys that have been in leadership or have seen things can share stories too. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of valuable knowledge and experiences we can share. And what we do is we put this all, wrapped it up into a company called Elevate. Elevate is an acronym: expectations, leadership, ethics, vision, attitude, temperaments, and effectiveness. So if you just wanted to go through the program and just learn basic leadership principles, you would take Elevate, right? If you wanted one-on-one coaching, that's a different thing. Leadership, ethics. So at the end of the day, I keep saying at the end of the day. Okay. So I'm so excited about this topic. And whenever I'm this excited, I have to calm down. But all superheroes don't wear capes is what we're talking about today. Because what I mean by that is that I believe that people who can walk and move forward in spite of fear are superheroes. I really believe that. Now, I'm not talking about bungee jumping or, riding that rod that twists and turn your stomach all upside down. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that see opportunities, and because of fear, they don't take advantage of those opportunities. And that is a superhero power. I really believe that. So that's what we're talking about today. So, Shar, how you doing?
Fine.
Shar's doing fine. Uh, Shar, like I said, I didn't say this part, but Shar also has a full time job, so they're telling her that she got to go back in sometimes. She's been used to being at the house for 3 years now. Now she's got to get on the road at least 2 to 3 times a week. So, and she's loving it.
Nothing like Houston traffic.
Nothing like Houston traffic, right? So, when we talk about this, I want to share a couple stories. I hope that you guys can chime in and share some stories about fear. I wanted to share a couple stories, but like I want to do is I just really believe that if you're able to walk forward, move forward in spite of fear, that is a superhero power. When you see the superhero pull up on the scene, whether it's Spider-Man, Superman, or I don't know, you can't see it, but in this is our media room, and I got a picture of Spider-Man right here in front of me. I got Iron Man over here. You don't see any fear. They show up and they're ready to conquer, right? So I'm not saying we're going to be like that, right? But I'm saying at the end of the day, we will move forward in spite of fear. I think one of the most courageous groups of people are firemen. They walk into burning buildings in spite of you. You trying to tell me they're not scared, right? I mean, they're walking into burning buildings, and they decided that, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to help people. You can't tell me it's for the money because they're not making a lot of money doing that. So I really believe that they decided that, hey, I'm going to walk in spite of the fear I have. I'm going to move forward and do this. So I love this quote by Emerson. You guys, we're going to have to do a quote book next year because I keep getting these quotes. I keep writing them down, and they're all over the place in my office. But this quote is powerful. It said, "Fear defeats more people than any other one thing in the world." Fear defeats more people than any other one thing in the world. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I think that is powerful, and I agree. Fear stops us in many ways, and I just want to go into it a little deeper. But I wanted to share these two stories, and I'm hoping you guys can share some stories here. But I got two stories. One is about swimming, and one is about spelling words. And my parents come on here every week, and I don't know if I've ever really told them this. I think maybe about the swimming, but the swimming and the spelling words really are the backbone to why I do what I do and how I move, because I am one of those people that move in spite of fear. Um, some people would say, that's stupid in some of the situations I make, but I look at the end and I see that there can be a glorious end. So I move, even though it can go bad, right? I move in spite of. So who else we got on here? I feel like we got some people that we haven't spoke to yet. So Ann says very powerful. Uh, um, what's the thanks for trying? We appreciate your efforts. What's that?
Well, Tamika says John couldn't make it.
Oh, well, John couldn't make it. We call him 240. So anyway, uh, these two stories, I want to talk about swimming. So I am a super shy person. I'm one of those people that do not like to be around people. I've always been that way. I'm an introvert. I remember as a kid, I would play in empty boxes, just an empty box, and I'm good. I'm not a person that likes to have groups. I bet you my parents could never remember a time where I had like 10 friends come over at one time because I'm just not that person. I always had one friend, and that one friend I was loyal to him, right? I don't like a lot of attention. I don't like to be the center of attention. I don't like big groups of people. So Shar had a birthday. Whose birthday party? Is that Stacy's?
Mm-hmm.
So Stacy had a birthday party. And I know you guys are going to probably laugh at me or think I'm dysfunctional. But, hey, I'm 52. You can think worse stuff. I've had people call me worse things. So I had to work that day. And when you know what I'm getting ready to say, huh?
Yes.
So when I got off, I came through the garage.
But we have to tell them the party was at our house.
Okay, the party was at our house. The party was at our house. I pull up. I can't even park. I had to go knock at a neighbor that I talked to maybe once every 6 months and say, hey, can I park in front of your house? And they didn't answer the door. So they had a message thing. These doorbells are fancy now. They got this message thing where you can leave a message and all that. So I left a message, and my car was still there when I got back. So, but anyway, I go walk up to the house. There's cars all over the place. It must have been 25 maybe people there. And I walked through the garage, came through the back of the house. Nobody saw me. And I went in the bathroom and I just sat there. I just sat there. I sat there for a good 30 to 35, 40 minutes because I didn't want to see all these people, man. I just did not want to see all these people. And the only reason it was only 35 to 40 minutes is because my wife calls me on the phone. Where are you at? I'm in the house. What? You're in the house? I said, don't tell everybody because they're going to think I'm weird. Don't tell everybody. So I take a shower and I come out, and luckily she has this one cousin that I really like. And I went through, I did my customary highs and all that stuff to everybody. And then I went over there and sat next to her cousin that I like. And I stayed there the whole time until it was over. So that's the, so I say this to say this one thing. So I'm very shy and I don't like attention. And before I tell the swimming story, I'm going to tell the spelling word story because it really ties into what I just said. So when I was little, my mom used to make me stand up. And every Friday we had, I don't know if you remember this, Mom, every Friday I had to do spelling words. And you would go over with me. And I remember really in Phoenix, man, you would go over these words over and over again. Sometimes you tell me to spell them backwards. And that preparation helped me have confidence because I really hated being in front of people. Hey, Mr. Roundtree, it's good to see you. Oh, tell Shay we said hey. So I really didn't like being around in front of people. I hated that attention, but I was so prepared. It helped me get over that, right? So that taught me something at a young age about preparation. And then the swimming. So I'm in Arizona still. We're in Phoenix. And I just remember we lived in this apartment complex. And my dad is taking me down to this swimming pool. I think I told Shar this story. So he's taking me to the swimming pool and he's giving me this long speech about how important swimming is and how good it is for you and the benefits of swimming and da 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 da. And I'm trying to listen and all this, And then when we get to the pool, he just pushed me in. And it changed my life because you got to remember, I'm this shy, reserved, don't like attention, don't want to be around people. So he pushed me in the pool. And I just remember struggling severely, trying to get to get above water. And eventually I learned how to dog pedal. And during that exercise, I guess I should say, that's when I felt first time in my life, I felt like my dad didn't love me. I thought he was going to let me die, in there. But then it taught me something. It taught me, it made me hard on the inside as far as, what do you call it? A built-in determination to overcome when I didn't know something. It gave me a confidence. Hey, Aunt Stephanie, it's good to see you. It gave me a confidence that's second to none. So even though I was this quiet, reserved kid, on the inside, I was strong because I knew that when I was about to die, I figured it out. That's what it did for me anyway. So all through my life, I would do things. I moved out early, too early. I should have stayed at home. I moved to California as a teenager. All these things. I moved to Louisiana. I did these things because I had this confidence, and it helped me overcome the fear, because that's what we're talking about today, the fear, right? So what I want to hear is if some of y'all can chime in, if you have some stories, sometimes just one thing that you say, you know what? When I did this, I did it in spite of fear. Do you have something that you can share that you did it in spite of fear?
When I moved to Houston to go to school.
So Ashar, it was funny because we're both from Austin and we didn't even know each other back then. But Charlotte and Houston and Austin, and she came to Houston, and she thought Houston was like one of the most ghetto places. Am I right?
Yep.
She thought Houston was one of the most ghetto places she ever been to.
Yep.
So for her to move from Austin to Houston by herself to go to school, right?
Yeah, no money.
Didn't have any money.
No job.
No job. Did you have a car? Did you walk both ways? Did you? Okay, she had a car. Okay. She had a car, and to go to school down here, and she did it. Did you have some fears?
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yeah, she had some fears, right? And that was her experience. So anybody else want to share? We got a couple minutes before we get into this. We got a couple minutes. You did this in spite of. That's what we're looking for. You did it in spite of the fear that you had. Because there's some, I got to give a couple minutes and I got to move because there's some things I really want to share about fear. Because fear, I mean, it's a monster. Fear defeats more people than any other one thing in the world. Fear defeats more people than any one thing in the world. So I'm going to give it a few minutes. But I got stories like that. And when you're, the Catholic Church, I'm not a Catholic. I'm not trying to get political or religious, but the Catholic Church has this saying. It says, if you give me you give me your child between 0 and 5, I will give you a Catholic for life. And what I'm saying is those experiences I had at a young age, I'm going to read your comments, and I'm saying those experiences I had at a young age, I was super young. It changed my whole life, even though my personality or my temperament was to be reserved, to be quiet. Ann said I have a fear of public speaking, but I managed a series of historical lectures where I had to introduce the speakers. I had to wear turtlenecks to cover the red rash on my neck from nerves. See, that's real. That's real. I love stuff like that. I love stuff like that. One of the things that I we hear these listen to these sayings that are so inaccurate. These sayings that about fear are so inaccurate. I just had to stop. You'll see a T-shirt that says "Fear nothing." Really? I mean, how is that even possible? Right? It's just good. Sounds good on a T-shirt, but it's not even possible. Another shirt: "Be fearless." Come on, man. Another one: "Rise above fear." You can't really rise above it. You can walk with it, but you can't really rise above it. These are sayings that are so inaccurate. And I really think people, as they go through their journey in life, they struggle with this stuff because when they don't rise above it, or they do fear, or they cannot say that I fear nothing, then it kind of makes them go left sometime, right? Now, science would say this. Now, this is the part that's interesting to me. Science would say this: fear is hardwired in. They say it's in the amygdala, and it's some call it the lizard brain, and it sits next to your brain stem. It's the size of 2 walnuts, or two almonds. And science believes that it was placed there for survival. So this lizard brain is the thing that reacts to fear. Let me read this real quick before we go into the lizard brain. Mother Brenda, my biggest fear was losing my mother at the age of 25. I had to raise my 10-year-old. We persevered and we pressed through. In spite of fear, you kept doing it. That's an awesome story. So this lizard brain in the back of your brain is back there to help you survive, right? And but this lizard brain has a glitch. This lizard brain doesn't know if this opportunity or this threat is good and has benefits or is bad. It just sees a threat. And that's important to remember. The lizard brain doesn't know. It doesn't know whether this is a great opportunity that has risk or if this is a dangerous opportunity. It just knows that there's 4 elements present. And when it has those 4 elements, it says, flee, get away. Fear comes in. And Shar just asked me, what are those 4 elements? I'm glad you asked, Shar. Those 4 elements are uncertainty, attention, change, and struggle. So when you have those four elements, it enhances fear or it creates fear. My dad put on there, my greatest fear was being promoted from the ninth grade to varsity football. I survived. Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to say that again. When these four elements appear, fear is present. Uncertainty, attention, change, and struggle. And these four elements, the thing about these four elements is this, that yeah, fear is also present, but they're also present in the best learning opportunities that are out there, those four same elements. And that lizard brain doesn't know the difference. So at the end of the day, we have to learn how to walk with fear. And we have to determine whether this is something healthy or something bad. And if we don't make that determination, or we decide to shrink back and not walk with it because of the fear, then we become part of that Emerson quote, that fear defeats more people than any other one thing in the world. Any comments about that? I thought that was so interesting to me, because when you think about it, what do they say is the biggest fear in the world? Do you remember? Do you remember what they say is the biggest fear? And do you remember what they say is the biggest fear? Anybody on here remember what they? What's that?
Who's they?
What some studies have shown.
Studies.
So some studies have shown that the biggest fear in the world is this one area, and the studies show that. And I know Ann's going to type it. Ann put very interesting. I know Ann's going to type it here in a second, because I know she alluded to it. But she said, I have a fear of public speaking. They say that's the number one fear in the world. Not getting choked out by an anaconda, not falling out of the air when you're on an airplane. Is to get up in front of a whole bunch of people and talk publicly. To have uncertainty, attention, change, and struggle right there in front of people. Aunt Barbara said, my biggest fear is I'm getting older and I don't know the next day will come in my life as I get older. That's a big one. And then Shar typed in the number one fear of speaking publicly. So those four triggers are huge. So it's 7:23. I got to move real quick. I have several takeaways about fear, but I only want to share one because we got 6 minutes. But the one thing I want to share, and this is a personal belief, and I can back it up with some facts. I believe to move forward in spite of fear is a divine expectation. I don't care if your God is Buddha, if Jesus is your God, if you a Jew, whatever it is. I believe to move forward in spite of fear is a divine expectation. In Christianity, we call it faith, right? We see something, we believe it, and we move forward, even when it's uncomfortable, even though it might draw attention to us, even though it's a struggle, right? But I believe it's a divine expectation, and it must be practiced in order to grow. There's no other way to grow without experiencing some fear. So what do you do? What do you do? You be courageous, right? That's all you can do. You can be courageous. And said that thing where they tell you to imagine your audience is naked doesn't work. Tell me about it. I tried that. That just grossed me out, to be honest with you. I use the approach that says don't look at their faces. It says don't look at their faces. Just look above their head. That's what I'd use. You are blossoming and will live a long life.
That's fine.
Yeah, I got you. You must have faith before fear. I believe you'll have faith and fear mixed sometimes. You know what I mean? You know? So what do? You be courageous. And courageous means to confront, deal with, and act in spite of fear. That's all courageous means. It doesn't mean that fear is absent. It just means that you do it anyway. You don't let the fear stop you. But I thought this was very powerful. And this is my last point. So it says, what do? You be courageous. Well, how do you be courageous? Well, Aristotle described courage as the golden mean between cowardice and impetuousness. Aristotle described courage as the golden mean. He's saying that he believed that anything virtuous was right between two vices. This, man, I wish I would have learned this alone. This is to me, I'm a visual person, so stuff like this helps me. So he believed that a virtue was always in the middle of two vices. So in this case, being a coward and being impulsive. Right in the middle of it is being courageous. Because a lot of times we do the extreme things, right? We go from one extreme to the other extreme. Like the person that says, I can't keep talking to you because I'm gonna cuss you out and beat you up. Really? That's the only two choices: stop talking or cuss me out and beat me up. You know, isn't there anything else in between, right? So at the end of the day, Aristotle taught this. And he said, listen, every virtue is sitting between two vices. And I said, man, that is a powerful way to look at it. Avoid all extremes. Things that are virtuous are sitting in between two vices. And he says, and he also taught to develop a quality that you don't have, you have to act as if you already have that quality every time that situation is called for. And you know what we call that nowadays? Char's typing. She didn't hear me. So he taught that to develop a quality that you don't have. This is Aristotle I'm talking about. He says that you must act as if you already had that quality in every situation where it is called for. Now we have a little phrase for that, and we call it fake it till you make it. That's what we call it now. But that's what he believed in. He says you just have to act accordingly until you start really feeling that thing, until that becomes who you are. And that's the last point I wanted to come up with, is 728. And I remember this as a young kid. I didn't know who Aristotle was. All I knew was that we lived in California, and I was walking to school every day. And Ann said, amen. I was walking to school every day, and one day I got jumped, right? And I remember going home and telling my dad how I got my butt kicked. And I remember, I don't even know how many kids kicked my butt. I just know it was more than 3. That's all I know. And they were all brothers. So I don't even know if my dad remembered this, but I go home and tell my dad, he's like, I'm going to their place. I knew where they live. I walked home every day. So I'm scared. I'm like, oh, after this, I'm really going to get my butt kicked every day. So anyway, I remember after that experience, I never got my butt kicked again by those kids. But I remember thinking that I'm going to look like I'm somebody that you can't beat up. Fake it till you make it. So I walked, ain't nothing but probably about 80 pounds. I walked around like, yeah, and I never got beat up again. But I learned that fake it till you make it a long time ago. And I didn't know it was something that's actually a principle that's taught in the old annals of wisdom. But at the end of the day, it is so right, because especially as a Christian, we're asked to do things. And one of the biggest things that I hate to hear is, let's keep it real. And I know we only got 1 minute, but I hate that, because sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. And that's a good thing, So like one guy told me this, and I'll say this, and I know we got to end at 7:30. But this one guy told me about a month ago, he says, you're the whitest black man I've ever met. That's what he told me. Remember I told you that? I don't even know. But I don't even know what that means. But I guess I don't act like, I don't know what that means. I didn't get offended. Maybe I should have. I don't know. But the keeping it real, I think a lot of times these slogans and these sayings, be fearless, rise above it, all these little things, they get twisted up. And maybe at the beginning they had some meaning and it was maybe the right path, but they get twisted up, because sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. You got to act different because that's the right way to act. Now, Shar, this will tie into this. I know it's 7:30. Shar bought me a t-shirt and it's matching shirts. What does it say?
Why?
Oh, Lord. I couldn't remember exactly what it said. Now she want to fight me because I didn't like the shirt, so she got. But anyway, Miss Ray, I would tell you what that means. So she bought me a t-shirt that says something like, I love my wife, but sometimes I want to lay hands on her or something.
square up.
Oh, I want to square up. Now she want to correct
Don't lay
me.
hands.
She goes square up. I don't even feel like that, you know. But
It's just a joke.
it's a joke, right? So anyway, I didn't want the shirt because Char deep down in her wants us to dress alike, and that ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna dress like Char. She wants us to wear matching T-shirts and probably matching shoes and matching belts. That's just not my personality. So anyway, that's fake it till you make it. Aristotle. All superheroes don't wear capes because it talks about sometimes you want to square up. You know, yeah. Sometimes it's just being real. You know.
Well, that's how you feel sometimes. You want to square up.
So the message today is about all superheroes don't wear capes, and it just means that hey, you know, that's a superpower, and you might not have a cape, but if you're able to walk in spite of fear, that's a superpower. That's a superpower. So today, Twinsy's so cute. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'll never do it. All right. So 7:32. Thank you for giving me those 2 minutes. Be intentional. Focus on growth. Elevate now. We will not have a broadcast next week. I graduate next Wednesday from Stegan. Shar is going to be up there with me. I'm kind of embarrassed in a way because I can't bring everybody up there because nobody else brought anybody up there. But Char's gonna come up there with me, and the owner's gonna be there. I'm the only one that the owner came up for just because this time allowed it. The owner's gonna be up there, but the VP of the company, both VPs of the company is gonna be there, and I got to give a speech. And I already told y'all, I am nervous around groups of people like that. So thank you. Be intentional, focus on growth, and elevate now. You guys have a great one. Thanks for your time.